Joe Murtaugh's The Woman in the Walls is a brand new story, but the filmmakers clearly took inspiration from the true stories of the women who were brought to Magdalene Laundry in the past and wove them into a gripping tale. Lorna Brady, who got through Magdalene, had a lot on her plate before she found someone died at her place, and now things are much more out of control for her. Find out what happened to Lorna and whether or not she's a killer by looking into this more. What happened in The Woman in the Walls Episode 1? At the start of the first episode of The Woman in the Walls, we see Lorna laying in the middle of the road, confused as to how she got there. She ran back to her house, becoming disturbed at the amused glances she received from passers-by. We soon learned that Lorna often had similar lapses in sanity. Since her parents put her to the Kilkenure convent, it was well known that Lorna had been really messed up. No one, not even the priests or nuns, ever explained why her kid had been taken from her. From the 18th through the late 20th century, Magdalene laundries were a real problem in Ireland. Girls and women faced inappropriate behavior in places pretending to be boot camps where they'd be taught acting proper by religious folks. Crying babies would be taken away from their moms and put under the church's watch at related homes, not to be seen again. This is what happened to Wilson's Lorna, and it happened to many other women in her imaginary town of Kilkenure as well. Having a baby young was a big no-no, showing how easy it was to get sent here. Some religious folks saw good looks as bad because they thought a flirty young woman would mess with married guys. Lorna never got over losing her kid, whose location she has no clue about. Her trauma shows up in different ways, but one of the most noticeable is her tendency toward hazy, dreamlike states. It becomes clear that, when her mind's in charge, she's up to some serious drama, if not worse. This is one of the big issues in the pilot. Lorna has a moment after a meeting flopped with a stranger who claims to know what happened to her kid. She comes back to find a woman's dead at her place with no clue how she died. The murder of Father Percy Sheehan, an old priest from Dublin, caught Detective Coleman Atkins, Daryl McCormick, and although we don't know how they're connected, it seems likely. Atkins' childhood priest Sheehan seemed nice while alive, but, when they found the car in Kilkenure, Atkins started to think Sheehan's connections to the laundries pointed to a shady past. As we get a feel for how unstable Lorna might be, the first episode mostly focuses on awkward situations, with Akin trying to do his job among local cops who don't want extra work and quiet locals who don't want to bring up bad memories. This is when the show's creepy vibes really show, although they're more of a natural part of the show's themes than just a style thing. The show's main goal is to look at family issues and how the system's messed up. The mystery and genre twists are just the show's solid setup. Lorna finally hides the body in a wall in her living room at the end of the episode. There are a lot of questions at this point. Is she trying to protect herself from maybe being a murderer? If she's just going by her own wild thoughts, can we trust her? If she tries to figure out the problem herself, will she end up looking guilty? Lorna is also now top of the list for Akin, so they might team up for their own investigations. The Woman in the Wall has been good so far, but there are still 5 more episodes and you can still mess up.